Hey, what's up, Philip? Quick demo video for you for your Creepy Uncle by Denis Lukyanov, installed with a Proffie and Goth Master chassis. As you know, you bought this off the secondhand market and it had a few things done to it. Mostly the battery compartment, which you get to by unscrewing this right here. I couldn't redo this, okay, without fear of breaking it. So this was wired already. I didn't want to take these out because the first thing I tried to do was take this PCB out, and it was very well glued in there, and I was afraid of breaking the chassis. So I didn't modify this at all. Normally, this would get wired. It would have a kill switch right here, and that's how you would do that. Okay, but just know I left the speaker and the battery tabs and this PCB in because they were pretty locked in, and I didn't want to damage anything. So that's what we've got here. And then how to get to the chassis is you just want to unscrew the grenade section. The grenade section was the last thing that was done already. It had the blade side PCB in there, and then it had the stock V3 in there already. So I left that alone because they're working fine. Test it out, okay? What I did do was the entire chassis here. So you've got your crystal here. I put some blade diffusion over on the underside of these vents that I'll show you here in a second. You've got an OLED screen right here I put in for you. I did use CC sabers in here for this NeoPixel connector just to hit that blade side PCB. And then to get to the board, you can take this piece off, right? Just got to be careful. It's on there with magnets. It's a very tight fit, but it does come off. And then when you take this off, if you could see that there, I do have a 3 pixel accent strip on top of the board to give you some added blinkies on this great section right here, and then you can see the blade diffusion that I put on the other side. This chassis was made for a CFX. So what I did was I just made a spacer for one side of the board right here. That helped me move the board off to the side. I got the SD card away from this tube, so it's easier to take, in and out. All right, so that's what I did there, and everything works fine. When you're putting it in, just take your time, put it back on, and it holds itself in with magnets, and everything is good to go. And then, of course, the PCB that was in here for your switches was damaged. There was some damage between where the solder joints are and the actual LEDs. So after I tried to fire this up initially and the LEDs didn't work, I had to take the LEDs off the board. I independently wired a red and green LED and glue them in here so that this control box works, okay? And then I utilized the PCB for the switches because it worked really well for the switches. Okay, so after all that, we'll take a battery and we'll put it in your saber. We're in the battery compartment. Snaps right in there. This does come off if you wanted to. I just tend to leave it on there. And then we'll take this and we'll screw it right in. You'll see your blinkies go off here when it makes contact.
Greetings, Exalted One.
So you got your cave scene blinkies on your red and green. I got a little bit of a scroll effect over here. This is in blue when the saber's off, and then pulsing green for your crystal when the saber's off as well. And then it only has one sound font on it because there's 5 blade styles, right? So if I hit auxiliary,
Luke Skywalker.
it says Skywalker right there. It's not going to pick up on camera, but it does. All right, and then there's your battery meter. Till we turn it on. So the travel of this LED strip right here will be in the opposite direction, and it will turn green. Just like that. And the LEDs up here fire up. Very loud saber. And I gave you twist off. So the reason there's one sound font on here only, there's 5 blade styles. So when you go to add sound fonts, know that it goes in this order. Your first blade style is your blade. Your second blade style, or your second and third blade styles rather, are your LED diodes for your crystal chamber. Your fourth blade style is your single pixel accent for your crystal, and then your fifth and final is your 3 pixel accent right here. All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this and we'll screw it right on. Make sure it's locked down nice and tight. Come over here and hit activation, which is the front switch. Auxiliary back here. And then I gave you twist off, which is pretty common. All right. It's pretty common for my installs, rather. We'll throw a blade in. It takes a 1-inch diameter NeoPixel blade. This one just takes a normal blade. On your other one, I will be making that recessed blade for you before I ship out your 5 sabers and a recessed blade. All right, so we got that locked in. Lights up nice. Solid. You have a pretty good amount of blade depth for this being a thin neck saber. Blade lockup is holding down aux and hitting the saber. Pretty loud. And then playing your soundtrack will be a long press on your power. Just like that. And then another long press to turn it off. Just like that. All right, so one more time. And of course, when it turns off, you get your cave scene blinkies going back to what they were doing. And then we'll just take the blade out and go over taking the battery out, which is very easy to do, and it is something you'll want to do on this one since there isn't a kill switch. All right, so let's come over here and unscrew the pommel. Bring out that entire chassis section, and then you can come over here and pull the battery out just like that. There was a piece of tape holding the positive terminal on, so of course I got rid of that, and I E6000 the terminal back in. All right, but that is basically your creepy uncle. Let me know if you got any questions, and if not, I'll put this with the rest of your sabers. Thanks.